Decisions are often complex, and they can be life-changing, especially if the stakes are high. Your goals will change, and you'll have different priorities in different stages of your life. I know how stressful it is to make a difficult choice, but there are things you can do to make things easier. Here are 5 principles you can follow to help you make better decisions. 1. The 1 versus 1 principle. When faced with a lot of choices, it can be impossible to make a decision, which is why it's best to only compare 2 things at once. Let's say you're trying to decide which city to move to. There are so many great options, from New York to LA to Chicago, and so on. The best way to handle this type of decision is to only compare one item to one item at once to make the best choice. I'll continue on with the city example. So in this case, you'll make a list of all the cities you want to move to. Pick the first city on the list and compare it to the second. It should be much easier to make a choice since you're only comparing 2 cities. If you try to compare all the cities on your list at once, it would be impossible. Once you know which city you like better, cross off the city you like less from your list. Now you compare the city you liked more against the 3rd city on the list, and keep repeating the process until you're left with your favorite. When you're faced with way too many options, this is one of the best things you can do to help you make a decision. 2. The deadline principle. Avoiding a decision and procrastinating is a decision you can make, but we can all agree that it's not a good choice. Giving yourself a deadline will force you to move forward and choose something, instead of staying stuck in fear of picking the wrong choice. Be sure to set a final date where you have to make a choice, so you have some time to think the decision through. Although it's good to give yourself some time to think things through, don't set your deadline too far down the road, because you'll end up procrastinating. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. Basically, if you set the deadline too far away, you'll only start to do the work near the deadline, since you likely won't have the motivation to start early. 3. The acceptance principle. There's a good chance you won't pick the right choice, and you should be okay with that fact. You'll be fine even if you pick the wrong choice. Most people end up picking the wrong choice, but they're still fine, and some of them are even happier because they ended up picking the wrong choice. Most people end up switching college majors or careers, so chances are you might also do the same thing. Most choices aren't permanent, so if you don't enjoy what you chose, you can just switch and do something else. If you make a wrong choice, it'll teach you lessons and you'll get a better understanding of who you are and what you like. This knowledge will help you with your decision making in the future, so the only downside of picking the wrong choice is just some inconvenience until you make the switch. 4. The next principle. This is perfect for creative work. When it comes to creative work, perfectionism is your worst enemy. It's easy to spend extra time on your work and never publish it. This is where the next principle comes in. Instead of giving in to perfectionism, you just tell yourself you'll do it for the next piece of work. This doesn't mean you should be lazy though. You need to follow through with your word and actually do what you said you'll do during your next piece of work. I use this principle a lot when I started making YouTube videos. I wanted to keep redoing some of the voiceovers or the animations, and I used the next principle to just publish. Although you might not be able to use this for any major life decisions, it can still be very helpful for a lot of daily decisions. 5. The intuition principle. Basically, just trust your gut. I know it might sound like bad advice, but trusting your gut can help you with some tough decisions. Everyone is capable of knowing what feels right to them. It's nice to weigh the pros and cons and to spend time carefully thinking about the decision, but just looking at things from a logical angle might not be enough sometimes. Your gut feeling is based on your life experiences and emotions, and it can be the final thing you need to make a choice. There have been multiple times where my intuition has helped me make a choice, and I don't regret trusting my intuition. The next time you're struggling to make a choice, just trust your gut and things will work out. These principles are great, and they apply to a wide range of decisions. You can even combine some with them when it comes to certain decisions. For example, if you're wondering what career you should pursue, you can use the acceptance principle and the 1 versus 1 principle. As long as you understand you'll be okay no matter what choice you make, making a decision won't be so challenging. Which principle did you like the most? Leave a comment below, And check out the video on the end screen on how to think clearly if you're struggling with brain fog or need help to think better.